Hey, how are y'all doing tonight? It is time to elevate and execute. I'm so excited that you all have joined me tonight. Christina Allen, I am a life coach. I'm a licensed professional counselor. And tonight, I am bringing you Elevate and Execute, specifically becoming the woman that God has called you to be. So I'm so excited that you have decided to join me. I want each of us to be the woman that God can trust with more. Can he trust you? Can he trust you with more? When he can trust you, he can elevate you. When he elevates you, it's on you to execute, okay? So you have to trust God, elevate, and execute. So let me share this. I want to make sure I've got it all in the right place. Definitely want to share to my page. Make sure that you're sharing with your people. If you're with me, will you please say something? That would be awesome. Just knowing that you're there. Goodness, I can't figure out how to share this. We'll just keep going. We have to keep going. We can't worry about it. Yeah, so I'm super excited. Let's get started tonight. Let's see. If somebody can tell me how to share this with myself, that would be great. That would be exciting. But anyway, we're going to move forward. So becoming the woman that God can trust with more. Our scripture is 1 Chronicles 4:10. Lord, bless me indeed. Enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me. Keep me from evil and protect me from harm. Keep me from evil and protect me from harm. Jabez's prayer is not only asking for a blessing, but also increased influence, greater responsibility, divine guidance, and protection. He's asking for all of these things. Enlarge my territory. Bless me indeed. With that blessing comes greater responsibility. With that blessing comes greater influence. More. Bless me indeed, God. Our prayer tonight is, Lord, expand my awareness, expand opportunities, give me insight, help me to see what I cannot see with my natural eyes, God. Expand my capacity, God. I want to be trusted with more. I want to be trusted with more. So I think that it's important that we recognize this is not adding to your to-do list. This is not giving you just things to do, stuff to do. This is, God, enlarge me so that I can be a vessel, so that I can be used in the earth. Lord, use me. You can trust me, God. You can trust me. When God can trust you, he can elevate you. And that's what I want us to focus on tonight, is that, becoming more, standing in a place of abundance, standing in a place of where God can give you that prosperity and those desires of your heart. Standing in that place, you have to expand. You have to expand who you are. You have to expand your knowledge base. There's so many things that come with elevation. There's a lot of things that come with elevation. So I want you to think about becoming unapologetically the woman God called you to be. Unapologetically the woman God called you to be. So I want you to think about this. If your life looked exactly the way it does today, a year from now, would you be satisfied? If your life looked exactly the same, nothing's changed, nothing's gotten better, there's been no growth. If your life did not change a year from now, would you be satisfied? And I would have to say, no, I wouldn't be satisfied, because I would feel like, God, there's so much more. There's so much more in me. There's so much more that I can provide and produce. And if I don't grow, what did I do all year? If I don't grow, if I haven't become greater, if God hasn't expanded, if I hadn't allowed myself to be expanded and grown and expansive in the earth, then what did I do all year? So if your answer is no, I wouldn't be satisfied, then what would satisfy? So one of the things I want you to think about, elevation begins from within. It begins inside of you. And I apologize, y'all, I'm trying to share this video and I can't figure out how to share. But that's on me. I'll figure it out. I want us to think about our thinking patterns. We talked about this last time. How we think affects how we feel. How we feel affects how we behave. Your growth is based upon how you think. So we talked about Romans 12:2. Be ye not conformed to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed to the renewing of your mind. So when you ask God, when you're asking God, Lord, I want you to trust me more. The only way he can trust you is when you elevate your mindset. Because if you're in the same thinking as you were last year, how can he trust you with more? You haven't grown. You haven't developed. You haven't come forth. So you want God to be able to say, yeah, that's my daughter. I trust her with more. I know that I can trust her. I know that I can impart more in her life. So you want to be in a place to where, you've allowed God to change your thinking. You've changed your thinking. And we talked about last time, women, sometimes they pray for promotion while thinking, I'm unqualified. Or they pray for peace while they're thinking anxious thoughts. They pray for influence and they hide themselves. It's like, God, I want you to transform my life. And in that transformation, elevate me so that I can execute your will in the earth. Elevate me, God, so that I can execute your will. Not my will, Lord. Let your will be done. Elevate. This is part of the process. So God doesn't simply want to improve your circumstance. He wants you to transform from the inside out. It's not like, I'm just going to improve your circumstance. I want you to be better. I want you to be greater. I want you to be like me. God's saying, come on up. Come on up a little higher. Come on and be like me. Elevate yourself. Elevate your thinking. Elevate your behavior. Elevate your thoughts. This is what is required to transform your life. Elevation. So I want you to think about, you said, I'm not going to be happy if I haven't grown from this point today into next year. So you need to think about, what thoughts have you become comfortable with that would keep you from growing? What beliefs have you accepted that would keep you from elevating into the next level of your life? What have you accepted as good enough that isn't God's best for you? Oh, this is good enough. I'm good. No. What does God have for you? That is what you should desire. God, what do you have for me? Because it's laid up and it's in store for you. But if you're not thinking on that level, if you're not elevating who you are in God, he can't bring you to that point. You have to accept God's best for you, not just this is good enough, because God is so much more, so much greater. There is so much more in store when you elevate. What thoughts do you keep replaying in your mind that don't align with God's word? What are you doing that's not in alignment with God? Because if you're not in alignment, can he trust you? If you're not in alignment, will he elevate you? If you're not in alignment, that you're not in position. And if you're not in position, you can't execute his plan. You have to be in position. You have to change your mindset. You have to elevate to the next level. So I will say this, elevate, execute. God's not looking for the perfect woman. He's looking for the faithful woman. He's not looking for the most courageous. He's looking for the more, he's not looking for the strongest. He's looking for the more courageous woman. You don't have to be super strong, but you do have to have courage. So let me get back to that. You don't have to be super strong, but you got to have some strong courage. You got to have the courage to walk out there on faith. So he's not looking for perfect, he's looking for faithful. He's not looking for the strongest, he's looking for the courageous. He's not looking for the most capable and skilled, but he's looking for the one who will surrender. Are you willing to surrender? Because you got to surrender your mind to his mind. You got to surrender your ways to his ways. He's not looking for the woman who only wants promotion. He's looking for the woman who desires to be a testimony. You can't just be after the promotion. You got to want the testimony. Lord, look what you brought me through. Look where you brought me from. Now I have been elevated. Now I have the promotion. That's a testimony. So not just the promotion. You got to be the testimony. So God isn't looking for women who have all the answers. He's looking for women who are willing to say yes. Are you willing to say yes tonight? Yes, God. Yes to your will. Yes to your way. Are you willing to say yes? When you elevate your mind and execute by faith, the faithful steward, God has placed things in your hand. When you're faithful, he can place things in your hand. He can prepare you for greater influence. And that's what leadership looks like. He can put it in your hand, and he trusts you with it, which prepares you for greater influence. And that influence allows you to be the testimony, elevate and execute. You can be that testimony and execute God's plan in your life. Whoever can be trusted with little can be trusted with much. But whoever is dishonest with a little will be dishonest with much. That's in Luke. So if he can trust you with that little bit, if you can be a good steward over the little, he will impart more. He will give you more, and he will give you more, and he will give you more. But you got to be open. Your mind's got to be clear. You have to have some clarity, and you have to say, God, use me. Use me as your vessel. Whatever you have for me, Lord, is for me. That's the mindset that you have to have. So I want you to think about, where has God already trusted you with influence, and what have you done with it? Where has God already trusted you with influence, and what have you done with it? How are you stewarding that? Are you being a good steward? So he's trusted you with the finances of your home. Are you a good steward? Can he trust you with more? He's trusted you with a company. Here you go. I trust you with it. How are you treating your employees? How are you treating the people around you? Are you taking care of them? You know, those are the things you have been entrusted. So now you've got to do the execution. God elevated you. Now you got to execute. You got to manage your money. You got to take care of that household. You got to build that company. There are things that you have to do because you've been trusted to do it. So there are some things that keep us from elevating. So we talked about mindset. We talked about, can God trust you? Are you a good steward? We talked about what God is looking for. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the wisest. You have to be willing. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the wisest. You have to be willing. Okay? So strongholds. Strongholds keep women small. Strongholds. So what are some of these strongholds that keep us small? Thoughts and core belief systems. Thoughts and core belief systems keep you small. I'm not qualified. I'm too old. I'm afraid to fail. What if people judge me? I'm not good enough. Only men can do that. Women can't do that. I can't do that. Women can't do that. Who said? Did God say? Or did man say? Did God tell you that you weren't qualified? Or is that something you thought in your mind? Because God will elevate and promote when you are in alignment with him. When you're in alignment, that's when God can do the most in your life. You put yourself in position for God to do the most in your life. And that's what I want. God, do the most. I don't want just a little bit. I don't want just a little bit. I want God to do the most in my life. So You want to get rid of these strongholds, these thoughts that keep you from growing and expanding in God. The greatest prison isn't a circumstance, but it's an agreement with your lies, the lies you've told yourself. When you agree with those lies, when you line up with those lies, that is the greatest prison that you can have in your life. You are captive. And God tells us to bring down strongholds and imaginations. Hold them captive. Do not allow these things to control your life, because it is a prison. It is a prison. When you stop believing the lies, when you stop believing those, you can walk in freedom. Stop believing the lies. Your mama told you when you was a kid. Your grandmama said this. Your auntie, your cousin, the girl at school. When are you going to stop believing the lies? If it don't line up with what God says, it's not true. If it doesn't line up with what God says, it's not true. Align with what God says about you. Okay? So stop agreeing with the lies. Stop agreeing with those. What lie have you agreed with? That's something you need to reflect on. What lie have I accepted as my truth? Because that's a stronghold in your life. Well, this happened to me when I was a child, and my brother did this, and my uncle did that, and my cousin, they said this. Those are strongholds. You can't allow your trauma to be your prison. If you're dealing with trauma, you need to go to God, and you probably need to see a professional, because that's a stronghold. Trauma is a stronghold. It will keep you from growing, from elevating, from doing the thing God has called you to do, because the trauma holds you captive. Freedom. I want every woman out there to have freedom. You deserve it. You deserve freedom. Okay? So I want you to go after what you deserve. No more strongholds. No more strongholds over the women. None. No more strongholds. Let go and be free. So I want you guys to start choosing courage. So we got the clarity. We've cleared our mind. And we need to walk in that courage and living by faith. Okay? So here's an example. We're going to talk about Esther, because this is women that are elevating and executing. Esther is an example of that. The scripture says, if you keep quiet at a time like this, deliverance and relief for the Jews will arise from some other place, but you and your relatives will die. Who knows if perhaps you were made queen for just such a time as this. This is Esther 4:14. If you keep quiet, they will be delivered, but it won't be by your hand, and you and your family will die. But who is to say that perhaps you were made queen for such a time as this? You were elevated for such a time as this. God gave you influence for such a time as this. You've come through everything you've been through for somebody else to be delivered because of your testimony. All right? You've been through. You paved the way. But you're going to be quiet. No. God brought you through for just a time as this. This season, this time, God is elevating you, but it's not for you. It's for somebody else. You're going to reap the benefits and you're going to get the blessing, but that blessing is a testimony. And that testimony is for some other woman, because you are the example. You are the example. God has raised you up. He said to Esther, they said to Esther, perhaps, who knows? Perhaps you are made queen for just a time as this, queen. Hey, queen. Hey, queen. For just a time as this. So every woman meets a place. Every woman reaches this place where their comfort and their calling collide. Comfort, calling. Comfort versus calling collide. Because a lot of times we get so comfortable where we are, and our calling is causing us to elevate and come up. God is calling you higher, but you comfortable. God is saying, come on, be aligned with me. Come on up a little higher, but you comfortable. There comes a point in every woman's life where it's like, I could elevate, but I choose to stay small. I could elevate, but I'm afraid. I could elevate, but I don't know what they're going to say about me. Think about that now. I could, but no, you got to step forward. Stop playing it safe. Because if God said he'd be with you, what you playing it safe for? If God is with you, who can be against you? So what you playing for? What are you playing around for? Talking, preaching to the choir. I'm going to be honest with you. This wasn't something that I felt comfortable with. This wasn't something that, I really thought I needed to do. I was quite comfortable sitting on my couch and eating some ice cream. God said, elevate. Because there's somebody out there that needs you. Elevate. I want to be a testimony. Lord, use me as your vessel. You have called me into the earth for such a time as this. So just know, Queen, God has called you for such a time as this. He's not telling you to play it safe. He's causing you to come forth and be bold. Be bold. Be unapologetically who God called you to be. Be bold in that. So think about this. What have you been avoiding? What decision have you delayed? And what dream keeps returning to your heart? What have you been avoiding? What decision have you delayed? And what dream keeps returning to your heart? That dream, that's a calling. That dream is calling you. Man, I wish I could, I'm really passionate about, when I think about, it makes me feel like excited. But I can't have that. I can't do that. No, if it's in you, it's for a reason. If it's in you, it's for a reason. So if that dream keeps coming back, it's time. I'm calling you out. It's time to step out on faith. Faith by itself, without action, is dead. So you got to step out. You can't just say, well, I'm faithful, I trust God. But you don't never test it. You don't never activate it. You don't never step out there on it. You're just talking. Are you a queen or are you comfortable? Are you a queen or are you comfortable? I want you to think about that. So if we know faith without works is dead, execution is required. You can elevate, but without the execution, you haven't come fully into alignment with the calling for your life. God elevates, you got to execute. Elevate, execute. Elevate, execute. That is when you're walking in your calling. Execution looks like making that phone call, launching that business, having those difficult conversations, going to therapy, setting the boundaries, asking for forgiveness, writing the first page of your novel, leading the meeting that you're so afraid to lead, praying publicly. Get up there and pray. They ask you to pray, pray. You're praying at home. You can't pray in front of people. That's execution. Showing up consistently, that's execution. So you've got to get in a place to where it's like, I know that believing and trusting God is part of it, but I got to do my part too. I got to execute. I got to execute. I got to get out of my comfort zone. So Who is the woman that God can trust? Who is a woman that God can trust? Can he trust you? So we have to understand that our strength, it isn't loud, it's not boastful, but it's faithful. Your strength as a woman, you don't have to be loud, but you have to be faithful. You have to show up. You have to obey when no one's watching, and you have to obey when everybody's watching. Obedience is key. Can God trust you with more? More finances, greater leadership, more people, more responsibility? Why or why not? Can he trust you? Because you're asking for these things, but can he trust you with these things? You're asking for these things. Can God trust you with these things? So we got to get to the point to where we know who we are as women. We know that we're faithful. We know that we keep showing up. We know that we're consistent. God will bless these things. God will bless these things. So some things I want you to think about. What do I need to surrender? What do I need to release? What do I need to become? And this week, what will I execute? What do I need to surrender? What do I need to release? What do I need to become? Who do I need to become? And what will I execute this week? What you executing this week? I want you to take control. Pulling down those strongholds. They don't have control anymore. So if we remove the negative thoughts, we pull down the strongholds, we activate your faith, we get you out of your comfort zone. Can you elevate? Can you elevate? Because God is calling you higher. He's calling you higher. So what is one thing that you will do in the next 24 hours that your future self will thank you for? What is one thing you can do in the next 24 hours that your future self will say thank you? I appreciate you doing that. Because we know that unto him who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask, think, or imagine, according to the power that works within us, we know that he can do above all that we can ask or think. So if you knew that you couldn't fail, what action would you take today that you would look back and say, wow, I'm so glad I could take that action? Because God already said it's available. So are you going to walk out there and take action? Are you going to walk by faith? Or are you just going to sit back and let life pass you by? If God is able to do it, and you trust God, he's able, and you trust him, then what's one thing that you can do, that's going to turn your life around? I want you to think about that. All of you out there are leading. You're leading your family, you're leading your church, you're leading your coworkers, you're leading, PTA meetings, you're leading. You're leading. But God needs you to step up higher. It's okay that you're in a leadership position, but he wants to trust you with more. He wants to trust you with more. You've got to keep going. It's not somewhere you stop. You continue to grow in God. You don't stop growing. And we get so comfortable. And we feel so holy. God's saying, come on up a little higher. Come on up a little higher. Levels. You just keep growing. Keep growing. Keep going. Keep growing. Keep going. The world doesn't need women who are waiting. The world needs women who know who they are, they know whose they are, and they trust the one that called them. They know who they are, they know whose they are, and they trust the one that called them. They have courage to execute his assignment in the earth, and they take hold of what he has placed in their hands. Okay, that's the woman I want to talk to tonight. That's who I want to talk to tonight. Because there is so much more in you. There is so much more in you. God is so great, and he is so big, he is so deep, and he is so wide, and you limit yourself by only thinking small. God's bigger than that. How high can you think? God is bigger than that. How wide can you think? He's wider than that. How deep can you go? He's deeper than that. God is so much more, and he wants to elevate you. He wants you to go higher in him. So I want you tonight to just focus on, Lord, how can I elevate? And what do I need to execute? How can I elevate higher so that I can execute your plans, your will, your desires in the earth? That's what I want you to focus on. So again, I'm doing a 50 for 50 that's coming up August the 1st. And I thank you, ladies, so much for spending this time with me. 50 for 50. I'm asking 50 women to commit for 50 days to transform their thinking. We talked about stinking thinking last week. I want every woman to have a transformed mind. 50 days. You're getting scripture, you're getting journal prompts, you're getting encouraging words every day for 50 days. 50 for 50. We will be launching that in the coming weeks. I want as many women out there who feel led to join this. It's a movement for women, a powerful moment for you to align with God, okay? So be encouraged. I want you to elevate and execute. This is our last Elevate and Execute, but we will have a new topic next week. I want you guys, if you don't mind, include whether you want it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night. I know a lot of women go to church on Wednesday and miss this. I don't want anybody to miss it. So put in the chat what night is best for you. We'll go from there. I will put it in on my Facebook to let you know when we will meet next week. Love you, ladies. Have an amazing night.